BBC Radio London.
Make a difference.
Lovely listener, welcome back to the programme. Now for some lovely, beautiful, Mediterranean, fragrant, balmy moments in the company of the author Nadia Marks. I should say the award-winning author Nadia Marks. Her new book is called One Summer in Crete. If you don't think you're actually going to get to Crete, this is the next best thing. Where am I? About 3/4 of the way through it. And Nadia, I'm hooked, and particularly escaping into those beautiful Cretan, I don't know, the atmosphere, the heat, the passion and all that stuff. Morning.
Good morning.
I mean, we've never needed books of this kind more, have we, as we're stuck at home? All we can do is let our minds and imaginations wander.
Absolutely. Well, I hope so. And I would like people to escape in the pages of the book, because it's very much set on the Greek islands. We have got the heat here, but it's not quite the same, because the sea and the sand and the moon rises are quite different over there.
And it's a kind of genre which really has taken hold. And I know you're really one of the chief architects and doyens of this genre, which is the kind of love and mystery and simmering backstories, not to mention sultry sex and all the stuff that we're missing desperately, always in a kind of Grecian or a Cretan or some kind of Cypriot type of a setting. It's something that there's a real appetite for.
Well, yes, I think so. It's an escape, and also family secrets. I tend to delve into those as well, which I think they're quite intriguing. In the lack of being able to have a book launch this year, I started also talking about food, because I use food in my books quite a lot, because that's all part of the whole Mediterranean and the whole sort of southern Mediterranean genre.
Yeah.
So in not having anything to do myself, I discovered my mother's cookery books, and I delve into starting to do some little films and videos, giving my readers some of her recipes.
I mean, some people have said that you are now the Cypriot Nigella. Would that be fair, or is that too much to say?
Oh, that's hilarious. One of my friends called me, because my name is Nadia, she called me Nutella.
So you, I mean, when you say you found your mother's old cookery books, are these recipes that she's written down herself in her own handwriting, that kind of thing?
Well, a mixture. I found a book that an old Cypriot recipe book that she had from the sort of 70s, 80s, that she bound in nice paper, and of course after she passed away, I took it all with me, and clearing up, because that's all, that's what you do when you're on lockdown. I found this book, and I thought that actually it would be really nice to start first of all cooking for myself, because we're cooking all the time, and also to share some of these recipes. And in One Summer in Crete, I talk quite a lot about food, because I went to Crete when I researched the book, and there was this one recipe called briam, which every taverna, every restaurant I went to, I was offered it. It was on the menu, and it would come along as a dish on its own, or as an accompaniment to chops or anything, or a lamb or a clefticon. And so I give one of these recipes in my website. So I've got a little series of cookery videos and recipes that people can have a look in my recipe.
So I don't know what briam is. I don't think I've ever had the pleasure of tasting it. I have no idea. But will you talk us through it in case anybody fancies making it today? Is it the kind of thing that we might have the ingredients for already?
Yes, that's why it's really simple. It's a bit like the French ratatouille, actually, because what it is a vegetable, it's a roasted vegetable dish. Basically, you have a couple of aubergines, a couple of courgettes, maybe a carrot you've got in your fridge, a potato, onions, and you just chop everything up really small, and then you make a kind of tomato sauce with just a tin of tomatoes and some parsley. You mix it all up, and you mix it all up with the vegetables, and you put it in the oven for an hour and a half about, and you have this absolutely wonderful vegetable roasted dish, which you can...
Is it different from a ratatouille, which you don't put in the oven? Do you do that in a saucepan on top of the oven?
Well,
Does it taste different?
Yes, because the vegetables are slightly chunkier, and also there's in ratatouille. I don't think they have potatoes.
No, you're right. You don't. Of course.
No, it's all vegetables, and they're very tiny. And this becomes more of a dish in itself. So yeah, and in my heroine is my protagonist in the book are always eating this briam, so people can pretend they're in the sunshine and try and cook it.
And actually, that really does sound like a good way of using up everything, because through this lockdown, I don't know how you felt, but I've really felt that it was almost a crime to have any waste at all. I felt like, my God, it's, who knows whether we're going to get the food, and now we've got to cherish it, and the fact that we can smell it and taste it, that's a hell of a big deal. We must eat it. We must not end up with our vegetables rotting in those salad bags that we throw away because we haven't eaten them. And that the briam sounds like a very good way of using every last courgette, every last carrot in the fridge. You're quite right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And tell me who's been filming you during these Cypriot Nigella incidents where you've been cooking your mother's recipes, because we've seen Alan Titchmarsh filmed by the wonderful Mrs. Titchmarsh. We've seen Jamie filmed by Jules Oliver. We've seen and as for me and the other half, Ben, every single time I do This Morning, Tuesdays and Thursdays, we've had the biggest row. Every single time we haven't been able to do it without screaming at each other because the technology lets us down and we don't know how to work it. It's awful. How have you done it in a sort of serene and tranquil way, and who's been filming you?
Actually, it wasn't too bad. I did some of the description of the food. I did it myself. I put it in a little stand, and I just sat in the kitchen and filmed myself. But when I'm actually cooking and describing, my partner, who is an absolute one of my wonderful Mike, he's been filming me because he's a great techno
you're
file,
lucky.
and he can do it. And yeah, we did it together, and it's fine. I think it's kind of love. It's a bit of a something to take you away from all the, the sadness that we're surrounded. Yeah.
And have you had people say that they're reading more, they've got more time, and what they want to read are your sort of books? In other words, books that aren't vastly demanding, but are kind of complex and beautifully layered enough to waft you off to another place. Are you finding that the appetite for your sort of book, not to mention your delicious recipes, is greater now because of coronavirus?
Well, I think so. I hope so. I know that the book has been reprinted again.
Oh, good. Well done.
I think 2,500 more copies have been reprinted in less than a week when it was. So I think people are. I'm hoping, of course, because not being able to go out and talk and do the readings in bookshops and do the book launch and all that, which is what you do when a book is coming out, and the bookshops being closed. But you online and Kindle and the audiobooks, they're all there, and I think people are reading. I hope so.
While I have you, homemade hummus.
Oh, yes.
Go for it very quickly, fast as you can.
Homemade hummus, you need a tin of chickpeas. You drain the water, leaving a little bit of liquid, tiny bit. You put it in your mixer. You put garlic. You put a clove of garlic chopped up, some lemon juice, some tahini, a spoon of tahini, salt and pepper. And if you've got a little bit of cumin, I sometimes put some cumin in it, and you just whiz it up, and it's wonderful. Or you can put a little bit of green or yellow pepper in it, or, and then whiz it up. And is it
fair to say it tastes absolutely nothing at all like the pre-made stuff? It's nothing like it. It's a whole different experience.
It's better. I put coriander, fresh coriander. If you've got a bunch of fresh coriander, put a handful, chop it up and put that, makes it completely different to the bought one. Yeah.
As you know me, I do have a bunch of fresh coriander. I'm growing it in the garden. Nadia, thank you so much. Nadia Marks, the award-winning author. One Summer in Crete is the book. I'm about 3/4 through it. I still don't know what happened in that family. What is the secret? I don't know. I have to finish the book. Lovely escapism, warm, Mediterranean, sexy, everything you might fancy reading right now. I'll tell you what's coming up on the programme.